Right, so am I comfortable doing a video on this? Not just yet, but I'm going to do one anyway. Tuppenny Nudger, so I posted a photo of it, that's all I posted. Show you the top first and foremost. So I've rejuvenated all of the plastic, which was looking really minging. You can see I've also, a little bit of spray there. I've also sprayed up that rail that was there, so I had to take that back to the base metal and spray it up. I've taken that back to the base metal, sprayed it up, had to mask it all, and then exactly the same with there. Things that were missing with it, it didn't have a coin mech, didn't have a power supply, so they were two of the bigger problems that it had. The button just completely stuck, just wasn't having any of it unfortunately, so that had to come out, new one went in. I can't even remember what else I had to do. I had to build a routing plug because I didn't have a mech to start with. Weirdly as well, so the mech's gone off to Mark Hair, Hartley Hair to be updated. And here's the weird thing. So the old mech routed everything fine. It's the same mech, they're both 126s, exactly the same 126 MEs. And the first one routed fine, no problem, except that the new 10p it thought was a 50. And it had come out of a quizzer because I picked it up from Ben. And then the other mech that I've banged in, which I got off Ginge, that one, it routes everything wrong. So all the pounds now go back down to the bottom. Yet it's exactly the same mech with the same sorter that was on it before, the same routing plug, and it acts completely differently, which is a bit annoying. Other jobs, so I had a Mux Board inside, had loads of random parts as well. It's been, obviously you can tell, it's been in its life something else, and I've scraped that off, but it wasn't always a Tuppenny Nudger, and whoever had done the work on it had done a really shoddy job of the paint work on the metal. So all that's coming off. Kallum's going to sandblast it for me, and then obviously it'll be a nice colour, and then it's pretty much done at that point. It'll be finished with from here, but it was effectively in pieces when I got it. Didn't work, took us a couple of days to get any life out of it, and we've now finally got some. So big thank you to Ginge, because he has given me a fair bit of assistance. He came around and gave me a lift with actually getting it on and try to figure out all the problems. And then Darren, so I was having problems with the reels, that's another one. So one of the reels just continually spun, took them all out, cleaned all the optos, put them back in. Still did the same thing, and in the end I took the slave board out, so it's got a driver board for it, reflowed all the solder on that, and then that's now working again, which is good. Has got a couple of lamps out on the reels, which I need to do at some point. I think I've got most of the ones on the actual machine. I think I've got everything. It didn't have a climb up, and it didn't have a one nudge, which I've sorted all that sort of stuff out, or most of that stuff sorted out now. There's probably a few at the bottom here as well, to be honest with you, but I have kind of lesser jobs, I guess, not been as big a deal. And then yeah, it had a Mux Board, so this machine doesn't actually use a Mux Board. So when we finally got it on, like 9, 8, 3 and a couple of other lamps were just stuck completely on, and we couldn't understand why. Assumed it must have been a blown transistor, took it out, had a look at the Mux Board, and then Darren had picked up that message somewhere and gone, it doesn't even have a Mux Board, I've got one, it's definitely not got a Mux Board in it. So disconnected the Mux Board altogether, and away we went. So whoever had it before me had just been throwing any random stuff into it, to be honest with you. Don't know how much life it's going to have in it, but as you can see, I've already got £5.60 in the bank. I just wanted to do a quick video of it really, and like show the progress before all you've seen is a photo that I posted, and then you've seen a completed machine. I kind of like almost wanted the world to sort of see it half done, so you know, it is fully working with the exception of the routing currently being wrong because the wrong, well, the right mech's in it, but it's just not behaving. And it is one of the all-time Seaside classics. There is enough pound coins in it. Obviously it's on old pounds this, so I didn't have an updated 126 reference. Not ME, sorry, not reference. That's what I've got in it. I'm quite glad to have it on and have it to a decent condition, although it's not what I would consider anywhere near done yet. I don't actually own this either, so. Well, not fully anyway. What have we got? Pretty certain we haven't got jackpot. Very rarely gives you jackpot when can't even see what's under there. Very rarely gives you jackpot when it's not giving bonus nudges anyway, but it does have the ability to just roll it in as well, like when it wants to. Couldn't even tell you what I've got there. It's quite dark, by the way. I've had to move out of the light a little bit because the light above it is like literally above my head now. So I've like pinned it back so it's not completely in the way, and I cannot see my reels very well, unfortunately. Not that I'm really that bothered, to be honest. Thought it was going all the way then for a minute. Main board that was in it was absolutely knackered as well. I have started cleaning that one up and fixing some traces, but it's not booting. That's a mod 2. Like whoever had it before had tried all sorts of things, and it's kind of all over the show, unfortunately. So then all this horrible metal's going to be gone. When I got it as well, it was on 70%. It was on the physical lowest percentage they could get it on in a seaside arcade somewhere in the northeast, I would imagine. So that's where it came from. So and I'm not sure what colour I want that to be. Like whether I got a feeling they were red originally. I'm gonna have a little look online and see what colour. I mean, like I kind of fancy a matte black for it, but if I can get it to near enough an original colour, I probably will go to an original colour. What happened with a lot of these, you see, is that they got rehomed over and over again. So they'd start life as being one machine. You know, this will probably have been a Crystal Maze, as sad as it sounds. And then when that machine comes to the end of its life and the arcade deems it's not making enough money, or they just fancy a change, they either buy a kit which consists of the glass, the ROMs, the reel bands, and they do a changeover themselves, which was very, very common, or they sent them away and got a manufacturer to do it for them. But you could literally buy a kit. I mean, Ben's got a Circus, and it's the best conditioned glass you'll ever see because it was brand new glass that he picked up. It was like literally boxed, brand new, unopened, unused glass, and he thought his glass was decent that he had on it originally. Nowhere near anything there, am I? Probably oranges, I think, or plums. And he took it off, and the difference between them, you know, the quality difference between the glass in terms of not being weathered and not being exposed to light, it's just unbelievably different. So it just goes to show if you're lucky enough to pick something up that's new. And I mean, the glass on this is, I'd say, pretty damn close to perfect. I mean, I will give it a good clean up, but you can see all of the reflective stuff's there. There's no real damage to it. I mean, there's the tiniest, I don't know if you can see it for the light, the tiniest little bit of damage there. I mean, it's nothing. It's as near as perfect as you ever hope to get something that's gone through a life like that. And I think it's almost sad, you know, that this was banged on 70%. It's sad it used to be probably a Crystal Maze or something along those lines at some point in the past, and it's ended up as Life's a Tuppenny Nudger, you know, but whatever it was, it should never have been on 70%. I mean, that is just utter dog shit. If you ever play a machine on 70%, they are crap to play in comparison to anything that's sort of mid-80s. I think it's always set at like 82. It's not not been set ridiculously high. I mean, I fly wire the battery, and I've cleaned up all the inside of the cab, and front wise I know you can't really tell, but it's pretty good. I need to put a new rubber at the bottom, and there's a little tiny bit of cabinet repair that needs to happen. It's minute. Other than that, it's just going to be sort the glass out now, and then it's done. And it won't stay forever. It's as much as my daughter absolutely loves it. I mean, I dare say if my eldest daughter still lived at home, they'd just be fighting over this all the time. And when they were little as well, I mean, we used to, when we stayed in the UK, we'd tend to go to like Havens and Butlins and stuff like that quite a lot. And obviously my holiday would pay for itself because I'd have the machines while I was there. So it was quite a handy thing to do when we stayed in the UK. We could basically have holiday for nothing. And they were constantly, when they were not swimming or at the beach or whatever else, they were constantly on like Tuppenny Nudgers, and the amount of times they'd just shout me over and go, Dad, come and do the nudges for us. Until my eldest got to about like 8 or 9, and she could do it herself. She knew the reels, and she's just crack on with it. Didn't really need me after that. They just shark them for when they were bonus nudging. I'd say all in all, this is in really good nick, and so there are little jobs to do, like getting a few of these light lamps on at the bottom and that, which is a 2-minute job. I've got a bag of wedge bulbs. Mr. Marshall sent me them up. He was horrified to look at one of his boards in my casino crazy, and there was like two lamps out. And he went, I'm sending you a bag of bulbs. So a few days later in the post, a bag of bulbs appeared, which is very good of him. The 2 lamps are now back on the casino crazy. And I have asked Mark Hare as well today when I sent the Mech off. I did send him a message and I went, if it's at all possible, could you sort it so that it will accept 2Ps? Because he originally did take 2Ps. So I'd kind of like to get it back to some form of originality. And I've been on this now for like 3 or 4, no, maybe more, maybe a week, I don't know, a while. Ben was very pleased that I went and picked it up. And as of today, he put his footings in for his arcade in his back garden, so he's going to have a really, really nice home arcade. He's going to have some absolutely amazing machines in. Stuff you won't see anywhere else and you'll never get a chance to play. But I will do some videos of them. Did obviously sneak a cup of tea in there as well. Like, people get upset now if there's not a brew in a video. So I thought I'd sneak one in. So dare say next time you see this on a video, we'll do another video. Next time you see it, it will be hopefully complete. It'll be done. It'll be on my new pound, and all the lamps will work and the metal work will all be done, and it will look a fruit machine again. It is an absolute classic, this, to be honest with you. Everybody's played a Tuppenny Nudger, I don't care who you are. And if you've not played it, you're lying. Especially if you've got kids or a family or anything like that, everybody's played a Tuppenny at some point. is like the original seaside fruit machine, isn't it? Dead simple concept. Wonder how many people attributed to getting into gambling was on the back of blooming Tuppenny Nudger. I reckon even me. So we will do. Give it one more quid. And it hasn't been an eventful video in terms of action, unless he decides to start bonus nudging now or rolls the jackpot in. But a little thank you to Magik as well. Something just reminded me, we didn't even have meters inside it. There were no meters inside it. So instead of fixing the meters, we just bypassed them. So he showed me a very, very simple way of bypassing the meters, which took me one piece of cable and about 5 seconds of my life to get it to work. Well, yeah, this is, believe it or not, this is probably about 80% done now. It's just going to be the last couple of jobs, really. And I must admit, I do come out for a roll on it pretty much every day. It is an MPU4 Barcrest as well. It's not a rebuild. It's not a rebuild global epoch. It's an MPU4. So one last quid and we'll call it a day, I guess. I'm sure the Globals used to say like bonus when they were bonus nudging on there as well. Right, we'll save the jackpot music for when it's completed. But yeah, done-ish.